Have you ever had a cat who screams for food 2 hours before mealtime, steals food off your plate, tries to open the cabinet where you keep their food, and acts like they're starving even though they just ate? Or maybe you're on the opposite side, desperately trying to get your cat to eat anything, offering expensive gourmet food that they sniff and walk away from, watching them lose weight because they refuse everything you offer. Here's what most people don't understand about feline food motivation. The difference between a food-obsessed cat and a picky eater isn't just about appetite. It's about survival instincts, learned behaviors, health issues, psychological factors, and sometimes deep-seated anxiety that manifests through their relationship with food. A cat who won't eat might be sick, stressed, or expressing control in the only way they can. A cat who's obsessed with food might have a medical condition, might have experienced food scarcity, or might have learned that food-seeking behavior gets rewarded. Today we're diving deep into food-motivated versus picky eater cats. We're going to explore why some cats are food-obsessed, why others refuse to eat, when each extreme becomes a serious health problem, how to manage both types, and how to use food motivation for training or cope with a cat who couldn't care less about treats. If you want to understand your cat's relationship with food and how to ensure they're properly nourished without overfeeding or underfeeding, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's start with the cats who think about food constantly, the highly food-motivated ones. Picture this, it's 4 p.m. Your cat's scheduled feeding time is 6 p.m. Your cat already knows this. They've been fed at 6 p.m. every single day for 3 years, but at 4 p.m., they start meowing, following you around, sitting by their empty food bowl, staring at it, then at you, then back at it. At 4:30, the meowing intensifies. At 5 p.m., they're frantic. They're screaming, pacing, acting like they haven't eaten in days. You finally give in at 5:30 because you can't take it anymore. Congratulations, you've just trained them to start demanding food even earlier tomorrow. Later that evening, you're eating dinner. Your cat jumps on the table. You push them off, they jump back up. You push them off again. They try to steal food directly from your plate. You lock them out of the room, they cry at the door. You're trying to eat in peace and it's impossible because your cat is absolutely obsessed with food. This is life with a truly food-motivated cat, and it affects every single meal, every snack, every time you open the refrigerator. Now, let's be clear about something. Cats are obligate carnivores who in the wild would eat multiple small meals throughout the day by hunting. They're designed to think about food frequently. A certain level of food interest is completely normal and healthy. But some cats take this to an extreme that goes beyond normal appetite into obsession. What creates a highly food-motivated cat? Several factors combine to create this behavior. Early life experiences with food scarcity have enormous impact. A cat who was starving as a kitten, whether they were born to a feral mother who couldn't provide enough food, or they were in a neglectful situation, or they competed with many siblings for limited food, that cat often develops food anxiety that persists throughout their life. These cats learned in their most vulnerable developmental period that food is scarce and unpredictable. That lesson becomes hardwired. Even when they're in a home with abundant food, reliable feeding schedules, and no competition, they can't shake the anxiety that food might disappear. Some breeds are naturally more food-motivated than others. Siamese and related breeds often have strong appetites. Maine Coons, being large cats, naturally have bigger appetites and can seem more food-driven. Mixed breed cats who have working cat ancestry, like barn cats bred for mousing, sometimes have stronger food drives. Medical conditions can create excessive hunger. Hyperthyroidism, which is extremely common in older cats, causes increased appetite along with weight loss, hyperactivity, and other symptoms. Diabetes can cause increased hunger and thirst. Intestinal parasites cause hunger because the cat isn't absorbing nutrients properly. Certain medications, particularly steroids, increase appetite significantly. Learned behavior plays a huge role. If your cat learned that begging works, that screaming gets food faster, that stealing food from counters is possible, they'll continue these behaviors. You train them by rewarding the behavior, even if you didn't mean to. Some cats are simply wired with stronger food drive as part of their individual personality. Just like some people are more food-focused than others, some cats naturally think about food more. Let's talk about what extreme food motivation looks like in daily life, because it's more than just likes food a lot. Food-obsessed cats vocalize constantly around meal times. They don't just meow once, they scream persistently for 30 minutes to an hour before feeding time. Highly food-motivated cats counter surf. They jump on counters and tables looking for food. They learn to open cabinets where food is stored. Some learn to open the refrigerator. Extremely food-driven cats steal food. They'll grab food directly from your plate, your hand, anywhere they can access it. Some are bold enough to steal food while you're actively eating. Food-obsessed cats beg aggressively. They paw at you, headbutt you, get between you and your food, walk on your keyboard if you're eating at your desk. Anything to get your attention focused on their food needs. Some food-motivated cats become aggressive around food. They guard their bowls, hiss if approached during meals, or even bite when food-related. These cats wake their owners at night or very early morning, demanding food. The 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. wake-up calls are all about food. Food-motivated cats watch you obsessively when you're in the kitchen. They follow every movement, anticipating that you might be preparing food for them. Living with a highly food-motivated cat requires constant management and firm boundaries, or they will absolutely run your life around their food obsession. Now let's talk about when food motivation becomes a serious problem, because there's a difference between a healthy appetite and concerning behavior. Normal food interest. Your cat gets excited at meal times, finishes their food enthusiastically, might beg occasionally for treats or human food, but accepts when told no and doesn't obsess between meals. Problematic food obsession. Your cat is constantly seeking food, doesn't accept boundaries around food, becomes aggressive or destructive when food isn't provided, is overeating to the point of vomiting, or has anxiety clearly centered around food scarcity fears. Food-related aggression is a serious problem. A cat who bites or scratches in food contexts is dangerous and needs behavioral intervention. Overeating to the point of vomiting is both a behavioral and health issue. Some food-obsessed cats eat so quickly and in such large quantities that they immediately vomit, then try to eat the vomit. This is not healthy behavior. Anxiety-driven food obsession, where the cat is clearly stressed and panicked rather than just hungry, needs professional help. These cats aren't enjoying food, they're experiencing fear and anxiety related to food availability. Sudden increase in appetite, especially in older cats, needs veterinary evaluation immediately. Hyperthyroidism, diabetes, and other conditions cause increased hunger and need medical treatment. Let's discuss managing a food-motivated cat, because if you don't manage this, you'll end up with an obese cat, a cat with behavioral problems, or both. First, establish and maintain strict feeding schedules. Food-motivated cats do better with predictability. Feed at the same times every single day. Your cat will learn the schedule, and their anxiety between meals often decreases when they can predict when food is coming. Use automatic feeders if possible. This disassociates you from food provision. Your cat stops bothering you because you're not the one providing food, the machine is. Never ever give in to begging or screaming for food outside of scheduled times. Every single time you give in, you reinforce that persistence works. You're training them to be more persistent next time. Ignore food-seeking behavior completely. No eye contact, no talking to them about it, no reaction at all. You have to be consistent every single time. Use puzzle feeders and slow feeding bowls. These make your cat work for food and eat more slowly. A food-motivated cat who inhales food in 30 seconds benefits enormously from feeders that make meals last 10 to 15 minutes. Break daily food into smaller, more frequent meals if possible. Instead of 2 large meals, 4 smaller meals throughout the day keeps food-motivated cats more satisfied and reduces the intensity of pre-meal begging. Provide adequate calories for your cat's size and activity level. Some cats are food obsessed because they're genuinely not getting enough food. Consult your vet about appropriate portions. Do not free feed a food-motivated cat. They will overeat and become obese. Measured, scheduled meals are essential. Use food motivation to your advantage for training. These cats are perfect candidates for clicker training, learning tricks, and behavior modification using treats as rewards. Channel their food obsession into something productive. Now let's talk about the complete opposite. Cats who turn their noses up at everything. Imagine this. You open a can of expensive gourmet wet food. The packaging promises irresistible flavor. You put it in your cat's bowl. Your cat walks over, sniffs it, and walks away without eating a bite. You try a different flavor. Same result. You try a different brand. Nothing. You try warming it up, adding water, mixing in treats. Nothing works. Days go by. Your cat is eating almost nothing. You're panicking because you can't force them to eat, and they're losing weight. This is life with a truly picky eater, and it's terrifying because cats can develop serious liver problems if they don't eat for just a few days. Let's be clear about something crucial. A cat who suddenly becomes a picky eater, especially an adult cat who previously ate normally, is almost certainly sick. Sudden appetite loss is one of the most common signs of illness in cats. Cats don't decide to go on diets. They don't have eating disorders like anorexia nervosa. If a cat isn't eating, there's a reason, and it's usually medical. Common medical causes of appetite loss include dental disease, which causes pain when eating, upper respiratory infections, which affect sense of smell and make food unappealing, kidney disease, which causes nausea, gastrointestinal issues causing nausea or pain, liver disease, cancer, infections, and basically any illness that causes pain or nausea. A cat who stops eating or dramatically reduces eating needs a veterinary examination immediately. Do not wait to see if they'll start eating on their own. Cats can develop hepatic lipidosis, fatty liver disease, within just days of not eating, and this condition can be fatal. Now, assuming medical issues are ruled out, let's talk about cats who are chronically picky eaters as a personality trait. Some cats are just naturally more selective about food than others. These are cats who've always been somewhat picky. They eat enough to maintain health, but they're not enthusiastic about food, and they have strong preferences. What creates a picky eater cat? Early feeding experiences matter. Kittens exposed to varied textures and flavors during weaning often become less picky adults. Kittens raised on only one type of food sometimes become very resistant to trying anything different. Some cats develop food aversions after negative experiences. A cat who got sick after eating a particular food may refuse that food forever, even if the food didn't cause the illness. Their brain associated that food with feeling sick, and the aversion sticks. Cats with sensitive stomachs or food intolerances naturally become picky because eating certain things makes them feel bad. They learn to avoid foods that cause gastrointestinal upset. Stress and anxiety suppress appetite in cats. A cat living in a stressful environment, dealing with conflict with other pets, or experiencing chronic anxiety often eats less. They're not picky, they're stressed, but it manifests as reduced appetite. Cats are neophobic by nature, meaning they're suspicious of new things. Some cats are more neophobic than others, making them resistant to trying new foods. Senior cats often become pickier. Changes in sense of smell and taste with age, dental issues causing discomfort, decreased appetite from aging metabolism, all contribute to older cats being less interested in food. Let's talk about what chronic pickiness looks like when it's personality rather than illness. Picky eaters eat, but slowly and unenthusiastically. They take a few bites, walk away, come back later, take a few more bites. They eventually consume enough food, but it takes hours. Selective eaters have strong preferences. They'll eat specific brands, specific proteins, specific textures, deviate from their preferences, and they refuse to eat. Finicky cats require perfect conditions to eat. The bowl must be in the right spot, the food must be the right temperature, the environment must be quiet. Any deviation and they won't eat. Some picky cats are grazer who prefer to eat many tiny meals throughout the day rather than scheduled meal times. These cats don't beg for food. They don't get excited about meal times. Food just isn't motivating or interesting to them. Living with a picky eater means constantly worrying about whether they're eating enough and accommodating their preferences to ensure adequate nutrition. Let's discuss strategies for managing a picky eater when medical issues have been ruled out. Don't constantly change foods trying to find something they'll love. This often makes pickiness worse because the cat learns that if they refuse food, something better will appear. Pick a high-quality food they tolerate and stick with it. Make food more appealing through temperature. Warming wet food to body temperature enhances smell and makes it more palatable. Never microwave, which creates hot spots. Use warm water bath. Try different textures. Some cats prefer pâté, others prefer chunks and gravy, others like shredded textures. Find what your cat prefers. Feed in a quiet, low-stress area. Picky eaters often won't eat if there's too much activity, noise, or if they feel vulnerable. Use shallow, wide bowls. Some cats dislike their whiskers touching bowl sides while eating. Whisker fatigue is controversial, but worth addressing if your cat is picky. Don't hover or watch them eat. Some cats won't eat when being observed. Put food down and leave the area. Consider appetite stimulants. For cats who are eating inadequately, even after medical issues are addressed, veterinarians can prescribe medications that increase appetite. This is usually temporary while you work on other interventions. For extremely picky cats, food toppers can help. Bonito flakes, freeze-dried meat, or special toppers designed to entice cats can make regular food more appealing. Let's talk about the nightmare scenario, a food-motivated cat and a picky eater living in the same household. This creates serious management challenges. The food-motivated cat will eat all the picky eater's food if given access. The picky eater might become even more reluctant to eat if there's competition or stress around food. Solutions include scheduled feeding in separate rooms with doors closed, using microchip-activated feeders that only open for specific cats, supervised feeding where you watch to ensure each cat eats their own food, and making sure the picky eater has multiple opportunities to eat throughout the day. You cannot free feed in a multi-cat household with one food-motivated cat. They'll eat everything and become obese while the picky eater starves. Let's discuss how food motivation affects training and enrichment. Food-motivated cats are incredibly easy to train. You can teach them tricks, use clicker training, modify behaviors, all through food rewards. These cats learn quickly because food is highly motivating. Puzzle feeders and food dispensing toys are perfect enrichment for food-motivated cats. They get mental stimulation and physical activity while pursuing food. Food-motivated cats can be easily lured into carriers, can be called reliably, and can learn to accept medications wrapped in treats. Picky eaters, on the other hand, cannot be easily trained with food rewards. They don't care about treats. You have to find other motivations, play, affection, or simply accepting that training will be very limited. Puzzle feeders don't work for picky eaters. Making food harder to access just means they won't eat. Getting picky eaters into carriers, giving them medications, or managing them medically is much harder because food can't be used as a lure or reward. Let's talk about weight management because this is where food motivation type dramatically affects health. Food-motivated cats are at high risk for obesity. They want to eat constantly, they'll eat beyond satiation, and they're motivated to seek food obsessively. Without strict portion control, these cats become overweight. Obesity in cats leads to diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, fatty liver disease, and shortened lifespan. It's a serious health problem, and food-motivated cats are predisposed to it. Managing weight in a food-motivated cat requires measured portions, strict no-table scraps rule, using low-calorie vegetables like green beans as fillers if needed, increasing activity through play, and resisting the manipulation and begging. Picky eaters are at risk for being underweight. If they don't eat enough, they lose weight, lose muscle mass, and their health suffers. Getting a picky eater to gain weight is incredibly difficult. You can't force them to eat. You can make food more calorie-dense by adding oils or high-calorie supplements, but if they won't eat it, it doesn't help. Let's address feeding schedules and styles for each type. Food-motivated cats need scheduled meal times with measured portions, 2 to 3 meals per day, at consistent times. Remove uneaten food after 30 minutes so they learn to eat during meal times. Picky eaters often do better with free feeding or very frequent small meals. They're grazers who eat tiny amounts throughout the day. Forcing scheduled meals on a picky eater sometimes results in them not eating enough. This creates conflict in multi-cat households, where management style that works for one cat doesn't work for another. Let's talk about food preferences and whether you should cater to them. Some cat experts say you shouldn't cater to pickiness, that you should offer food, and if the cat doesn't eat, they'll eventually give in and eat when hungry enough. This is dangerous advice. Cats are not dogs. Cats can develop serious liver problems from missing meals. You cannot safely wait out a picky cat the way you might with a picky dog. If your cat genuinely prefers certain foods and will eat adequate amounts of those foods, just feed them what they'll eat. As long as it's nutritionally complete cat food, their preference is fine to accommodate. However, it's good to occasionally introduce variety to prevent fixation on only one food. If your cat only eats one specific food and that food is discontinued or recalled, you're in serious trouble. Let's discuss treats and whether they should be offered. For food-motivated cats, treats are powerful training tools, but also dangerous. These cats will beg for treats constantly. You need strict rules. Treats only during training. Treats as a small percentage of daily calories. Treats in exchange for desired behaviors only. For picky eaters, treats might be their primary food interest. A cat who won't eat meals but will eat treats is at least consuming calories. While not ideal, treats that are actually nutritious meat-based treats can supplement inadequate meal consumption. Some picky eaters will eat treats but not meals because treats tend to be more flavorful and aromatic. You're essentially bribing them to eat anything. Let's talk about medication administration, because food motivation dramatically affects how easy this is. Food-motivated cats can usually be given pills hidden in treats or pill pockets. They eat so enthusiastically they don't notice the pill. You can also mix liquid medications with food. Picky eaters detect medications in food instantly and refuse to eat. Giving pills to picky eaters usually requires manual pilling, which is stressful for cat and owner, or liquid medication squirted directly into the mouth. These cats make medical management very challenging. Let's discuss aging and how food motivation changes over a cat's lifetime. Kittens are almost universally food motivated. They're growing rapidly and have enormous appetites relative to their size. A picky kitten is concerning and usually indicates illness. Young adult cats, 1 to 3 years old, often have strong appetites and can be quite food motivated if they're active and healthy. Middle-aged cats, 4 to 10 years old, often mellow in food motivation. They're no longer growing, their metabolism has stabilized, and they're less desperately hungry than youngsters. Senior cats over 10 years old often become pickier. Decreased sense of smell, dental issues, kidney disease, and other age-related problems reduce appetite. A previously food-motivated senior who becomes picky needs medical evaluation. Let's address the psychological component of food relationships. Food-motivated cats who experienced early scarcity may have anxiety-driven food behaviors that are genuinely distressing to them. These cats aren't being greedy or manipulative. They're experiencing real fear that food will disappear. Addressing this requires creating absolute predictability around food, never varying schedules, ensuring they see that food always comes, and sometimes working with a veterinary behaviorist if anxiety is severe. Picky eaters who are stressed or anxious need their underlying stress addressed. Food therapy won't work if the root problem is environmental stress. Here's my final guidance on food-motivated versus picky eater cats. If you have a food-motivated cat, establish boundaries early and maintain them religiously. Use their food motivation for training and enrichment. Monitor their weight carefully. Provide mental stimulation beyond food. These cats need firm, consistent management to prevent obesity and behavior problems. If you have a picky eater, rule out medical issues first, always. A Accommodate reasonable preferences. Don't stress them further by forcing food. Monitor their weight and body condition. Work with your vet if they're not eating adequately. These cats need patience and understanding. Both extremes can be challenging, but for different reasons. Food-motivated cats are high maintenance around food management. Picky eaters are high maintenance around ensuring adequate nutrition. Neither type is better or worse. They just require different management strategies. If this deep dive into food motivation versus pickiness helped you understand your cat's relationship with food, make sure you're subscribed to Cat Rules because we have more cat comparison content coming. Drop a comment and tell me, do you have a cat who acts like they're starving 5 minutes after eating, or a cat who turns up their nose at everything? How do you manage their food quirks? I want to hear your experiences. Until next time, cat lovers, whether your cat thinks about food constantly or couldn't care less about it, make sure they're getting proper nutrition and their food relationship isn't causing them or you unnecessary stress. We'll see you in the next video.